Hey everybody, I'm here today to show you and tell you how to not get paint on the floor when painting a room. This will be a super duper easy peasy tutorial, so let's get right into the video. As you can see right here, I am painting this room and I've started off by painting this wall. Now to give you a little bit of a backstory, I used to be a fast and messy painter in my younger days, but I've learned to be much cleaner now and take my time. And I'm gonna be going over 5 quick tips that will really help you not make a mess on the floor and not get paint on the floor and not make a mess of the room when you're painting the room. So let's get right into this video. So the first tip is to do what you see right here, which is to get your border done. Now I'll tell you what this does. First of all, it prevents you from getting paint on the ceiling, right? Because you have your border done. So when you're rolling the wall, it will prevent you from getting paint on the ceiling. Secondly, it gives you a little bit of a guide. So you have, it's almost like coloring in a picture. You have a little bit of a guide to work with, okay? It just helps you be an overall cleaner painter because you have a guide, you have an outline to work with. So that's the first tip, okay? The second tip is to mask off the edges, okay? The edges of where you're painting. So this is my little trick right here. Well, this is actually, my wife taught me this trick when we had our first house together and we were painting the bedrooms and stuff. She showed me this trick and it's really, really useful. I use it every single time I paint. So I essentially cut in the ceiling. I don't use tape on the ceiling anymore, but I still use tape on the trim over here. And along with the tape that goes on the edge of the trim, I usually put newspaper or like, you know, you get like those flyers in the mail. I'll put like flyers or newspaper here, but I didn't have any right now. So I just put some paper. I just got some printer paper and essentially I just stick the printer paper to the edge of the tape and it gives me a border to, number one, cover the baseboards, cover the trim to make sure that I don't get paint on the trim, but it also gives me a little bit of an edge right here because the majority of the paint that will splash off the wall is going to be close to the wall, close to the edge of the wall. So this gives me a nice little border over here of protection, okay? Now, that will usually protect me for the most part from making a mess of the floor, but in certain situations, I will get an actual, this is the third tip, which is to get an actual floor mat. So right here, I just have like a cloth tarp. It's like a painting tarp. As you can see, I've used it many times for painting. You know, you find various colors on it. There's caulking on it. Here's some purple when I did my daughter's room. Here's like a charcoal kind of black when I did the accent wall on mine and my wife's room. All sorts of trim paint. I don't know, there's some green on there. I can't remember what color, what room I painted that. But essentially, you're gonna get one of these and you wanna cover at least the wall that you're painting. Ideally, you want to cover the whole room, the floor of the entire room, but at least from the wall that you're painting, you want to cover at least probably about 4 feet out. And this will really ensure that you're not going to get any paint on the floor. In addition, you want to place all of your painting tools, like your bucket of paint. You want to place your tray, your paintbrush, your roller, anything that you're using for painting that has paint on it. You want to, any sponges, you want to place them over top of this somehow because that will protect the floor as well. Okay, that was the third tip, was the tarp. The fourth tip is going to be to not load up your roller or your paintbrush that much. So as you can see right here, that's the most paint I'll get on a paintbrush. And I learned this the hard way after many years of getting paint all over the paintbrush in all sorts of ways. You want to get, you know, minimal paint that you need on the paintbrush and the roller while still getting enough to actually get the paint on the wall. But too much will cause it to drip onto the floor, right? Too much will cause it to spray off of the wall. So you want to get enough to put the paint on the wall, but not enough for it to spray or drip off of the actual tool, okay? And the fifth and final tip is to take your time. Painting is an art form. It's not a race, okay? Now, I kid you not, in one day, I literally painted 3 bedrooms, 2 coats in the bedrooms, and the trim in one day. It was ridiculous, okay? Now, obviously, I wasn't using tape when I did that. I was cutting and everything because the paint on the wall was still wet when I was painting the trim. So I was cutting and everything. But I kid you not, in a day, and the thing is, though, it took me another day almost to clean the 3 bedroom floors with all the paint on it. So, you know, I learned the hard way. You can work faster, yes, by painting faster, but the cleanup will take you just as long. Taking, you know, I'd say half an hour per room to set it up properly, to not make a mess of the floor, will really make a big difference, okay? You can still paint fast, you know, decently, at a decent speed, I should say, but prepare your floor. That is the key. Prepare your trim. That is the key, okay? And that's basically it, you know, like take the plates off of the outlets and the switches, you know? Mask off anything you need to mask off. It will really make a massive difference with regards to not getting paint on the floor and in general, just not making a mess of the area. And that's basically it. That is how to not get paint on the floor and not make a mess while you're painting. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.